What a beautiful city this is, right? To a foreigner like me, it's pretty intimidating at first. I can only imagine how Rio would have felt coming here to avenge his father's death in Shenmue 2. I always felt that Shenmue 2 was more of an adventure than the first game. Rio is totally out of his element, and so am I to a degree. But I'm not here to avenge my father's death. I'm here to follow in Rio's footsteps. Pretty wired. It's gonna be hard getting to sleep. Yeah, so we'll see how I feel in the morning. Everything's packed. And all the formalities are taken care of. Yeah. Now it's basically just a matter of going to sleep. Wow, look at my eyes. I'm not used to getting up this early. Okay, so I'm at the airport and I'm getting ready to check in. So, not much else to say here other than it's nice and clean, I guess. Alright, let's do it. Okay, so I'm at Hong Kong International Airport and I'm exhausted. The plane ride was, it was good, but it was exhausting. And the place is amazing. I'm gonna get some sleep and get up, get an octopus card and head to my hostel. Now imagine you're in Rio and you're seeing all of that for the first time. You know, on the ship. Coming over from Japan, first time out of Japan. Never seen anything like this before, and I'm getting that same feeling. It's just utterly beautiful. Just this city is just incredible. Where was I going to start? I ended up in one's eye wandering the streets, thinking about how they would have looked all of those years ago in 1986. One's Eye looked very similar to the way it looks now in reality, neon lights filling the night with buzz and sleeplessness. I can imagine it would have sounded the same as well, clanging and shouting and beeping. It seemed different in reality though, much different. A bustling financial centre. The businessman works by day and frequents the call girls and bars by night. I'm in Shenmue, and I'm here mostly to go to the Golden Dragon shopping centre, but I got places like this on the outer regions of Hong Kong Island at Kowloon. They're the ones that have mostly escaped development. They're the ones that more readily resemble the places and shops and high-rises that make up Shenmue 2's landscape most of the time. Hey look, this torch is for me. As modern as Hong Kong is, there's all of these reminders that it's a city that is, you know, proud of its history. Namchong seemed more of a fit for the way One's Eye was depicted in Shenmue 2, a slightly run-down area with high-rises bunched together like monoliths fighting their way through the smoggy air. In a way, it also resembled the way Kowloon Walled City was depicted in the game. I had something to do before I visited Kowloon though. I had totally forgotten to go to Aberdeen, Ryo's first stop and his first taste of Hong Kong.
Welcome to Aberdeen. As you can see, it doesn't look a lot like it was depicted in Shenmue. It's a little similar. The bay looks very similar. There's all the junks there, the floating city. Floating restaurant is nearby on the bus route that took me here. The buildings though, they look a little different. Although if you look really hard, you can find some that look very similar to the way they look in Shenmue.
Once home to hundreds of boats strung together to form an incredible floating city, Aberdeen had been transformed into a commercial harbour abounding with tourism and a skyline. It was jarring to me how much it had possibly changed, but these were the way things worked in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a capitalist success story. However, the losers in this story were the hamlets scattered around the new territories that became desolate ghost towns once jobs began to migrate to Hong Kong Island and Kowloon. As these towns suffered, the floating city seemed to have suffered as well, and now the water was full of commercial vessels shipping things back and forth. Not that it didn't seem like there were some genuine permanent residents on the harbour. Behind me is this one part of Aberdeen's floating city. Now, it's an interesting place because every one of the boats behind me has some sort of purpose, whether they're fishing boats or they're transporting goods across to Hong Kong Island, or they're selling shirts or pants or whatever they're doing. Every boat here is part of a big social fabric, a community that they all help support. It's a very interesting place, however it's really polluted. The air is heavy with carbon monoxide and it is really hard to breathe actually. I can feel my lungs phlegming up as we speak. And the water is quite dirty as well, but it's an interesting place, and I can only imagine how Ryo would have felt disembarking, seeing all of this before him at the beginning of Shenmue 2. Just to put your mind at ease, they do have something similar to the tomato market here in Hong Kong. The welcome market. I wonder if I could find a cat to feed this stuff to. It's a little bit bigger, right? It was time to return to Causeway Bay, which was my home at the time. I needed a little break, so I decided to see what the city looked like at night. Hong Kong at night is beautiful. We've had a very good time. We've just seen some beautiful things, and now we are relaxing at a great little bar with a gigantic glass of beer. This truly is a wonderful city. After I woke up the next morning feeling a little worse for wear, I decided I needed to visit somewhere very important in the game, the walled city of Kowloon. The walled city was an incredible compound built around a fort won from the British in the early 1900s. With neither the governments of China nor Britain wanting anything to do with it, the city became an ungoverned place. This is obviously why Wren of Heavens is portrayed as living here. Surrounded by buildings but with far more space, the walled city park was erected after the city was demolished as a monument to it. A bronze diorama shows the city as if you were looking down on it from the sky, while elsewhere in the park birds twitter and turtles swim in a tranquil pond. It is a completely different place today.
After the city was torn down in 1993, the Hong Kong government created a park, as you can see here. It's an incredibly serene place, in contrast to the way it used to be. Bustling, cramped, mini metropolis that was riddled with crime. Stories that I've read about the place, though, don't paint such a bad picture. The residents of the walled city are apparently a big community, and although there was a fair bit of crime, you could say the same about Hong Kong itself. In Shenmue 2, the walled city is not depicted accurately in the sense that it is still quite open. However, it was probably as accurate as you could get on the Dreamcast. Now that I'm here and I can see what has been done with it, I thought at first that it would be a somewhat cheesy sort of tourist spot, but they handled the construction of the park with great care and respect, and it's a beautiful place with wildlife, and the air is very clean. In contrast to the rest of Hong Kong, the air here smells sweet and it's clean, and there's a nice breeze blowing, and this is a nice change. This is a very nice place.
Hong Kong Island and Kowloon are home to beautiful things, but few things are as magnificent as the Manmo Temple located in central Hong Kong Island. In Shenmue 2, Ryo visits the Manmo Temple in search of Zhu Ying. The temple is a very accurate recreation, although nothing can recreate the incredible atmosphere inside. A heavy presence descends on you when you enter, the sickly smell of incense and a feeling of humbling. It is undoubtedly a beautiful place.
Well, I've just left the Manmo Temple, that's it there in the background. And the air is really heavy with incense, and you get this real sort of humble feeling being in there. I wouldn't say it was a religious experience, but it is a very humbling place. Completely steeped in history. You're literally steeped in history when you're there because of all the incense. The coils on the roof that you see are actually incense coils. I didn't know what they were, but apparently they're incense coils. And those contribute to this sort of heady atmosphere in there. It's really quite an experience. And it looks almost identical to the way it looks in Shenmue, which I think goes to Yu Suzuki's credit to have something that's so important to the people of Hong Kong, you know, recreated so faithfully within his game. So this has been very surprising. It is the most accurate representation of anything from Hong Kong in Shenmue that I've found.
I had one final place to go on my trip. One final place. Guilin. Although unfortunately I couldn't get to Guilin for a few reasons, I managed to find a little piece of Guilin in Hong Kong. There's just cows on the side of the road. And there's monkeys like everywhere. They are beautiful. I think this one wants to make friends with Smalls. They're so cool. You're not gonna get rabies. Shenmue Valley, a place that closely resembles the Guilin of Shenmue 2. Once the home of a Ming Dynasty pirate, the Shenmue Valley area is a beautiful emerald-coloured green patch in the new territories of Hong Kong. This is Guilin. Well, it's not really Guilin because Guilin is in China. This is Shenmue Reservoir. This is the biggest reservoir in Hong Kong, or one of the biggest, and it is absolutely breathtaking. This is beautiful. It's the start of spring now, but it's gorgeous. This is what it looks like most of the time. This is what Rio would have seen when he disembarked in Guilin, something similar to this. And without being able to show you Guilin, at least I can show you something that looks a little bit like it. The hike back to town was a poignant one. I was finished, and it was time to leave behind the memories I'd made and the people I'd met to return for home. A few days later, I boarded the Airport Express one last time and made my way to the airport. So that's it. You know, it was fun, everybody. You see at the rap party. It's an interesting feeling, you know, like, this is done, I'm finished, and I'm going home. And I just can't help but feel that I've forgotten something, or, you know, there was something I needed to do, but I guess we're always going to be our harshest critic, right? So, 5 minutes of tape left, and no material left to go on. I leave Hong Kong a better traveled person, I guess. I learned a few things in this city, and met a lot of interesting people, did a lot of really cool things, and all in the pursuit of walking in Rio's footsteps, huh? All in the pursuit of showing you guys what the locations in a video game actually look like. It's an interesting pretense to come here. And I'm glad I had that pretense. I'm glad I came here. This is a really, really cool country. Okay, so I guess I'll see you back in Australia.